So you're thinking about moving to Shawnee, Kansas? Well, good news. In this video, we're going to be talking all about Shawnee, Kansas. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to tell you the number one thing that you need to know that's making a lot of noise right now in Shawnee. We're going to get started right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, and places like Shawnee, Kansas, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know of the current market here in the KC metro area. My name is Zach Morton. This here is my business partner, Max Jones, and the Mojo Real Estate team and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take our words for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving to 9 days or 90 days, just pick up the phone, you give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call so we can have that conversation with you and find out what your goals are. And all that contact information is in the description below. So here we are today, Shawnee, talking about some pros and cons. We like to keep it positive.
Ooh, doggy.
So what should we start with?
Definitely the cons. I mean, no.
Man, you're switching it up on me.
We'll start with the pros.
Okay.
Keep
We'll
it
start with the
positive.
pros. All right. So the number one thing that, I don't know, people with families, we hear it all the time when they're moving into a new spot, is the schools. What are the schools like? Now, there's lots of great websites out there. There's deach.com, greatschools.org that you can go find this information. But, so you don't have to do that. That's why we're here. And the schools in Shawnee are great. There's 2 school districts. You've got Shawnee and then also DeSoto that services the west side of Shawnee. And they're A+ rated schools. So across the board, you know, there might be some little differences here and there, but you're really just splitting hairs. Great schools. I can't say anything negative about them.
Yeah, for sure. How many Shawnee Mission high schools are there?
Well, in fact, and not just beyond the public schools too, is there's private school, a lot of private school options. I think there is 9 private schools from pre-K up to high school, and then high school has 5 private options as well. So lots of education opportunities.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I can't really say anything bad about Shawnee schools.
No, not at all. What do we got next?
Entertainment really stands out to me. There's always something going on in Shawnee, from the farmers market. What do they call the market there?
The Moonlight, what is it?
Moonlight Market.
Moonlight Market, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. It'll set up in the evening.
Yeah, and lots of events sponsored by the city of Shawnee.
Yeah, and then the residents will come out and set up little booths and get their, sell their stuff, but you're also out there supporting the restaurants, the local bars. They'll have beer trucks out there too, but just got a really quaint, sweet, super walkable downtown area that's a lot of fun to hang out in.
Yep, lots of stuff going on in Shawnee. There's also a sand volleyball and what is that, a skating rink that's down there?
For hockey, yeah, ice skating.
Yeah, right off of, is that Johnson Drive? I think cruises around, and that's a lot of fun. I've actually haven't been in a league to play sand volleyball, but I was an alternate. I don't know why they didn't call me back, but but it was a blast. I mean, they have like 8 different courts there, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's a cool spot. And it's set up for, kids sports. That area that he's talking about has baseball fields or softball fields across the street, and then you get a huge sand volleyball court with a covered area to kind of hang out. And then right next to that is ice hockey, and it gets hot out here in the summer, so an indoor ice hockey rink. So just sports tournaments can just happen any time of year. They're all turf fields, and they really put a lot of money into that area. Super nice.
Yeah, youth sports is a big deal in Kansas City, and lots of places to do it in Shawnee. We actually live in the Northland, but I don't know how many times we're headed to Shawnee or Lenexa for our tournaments, just because the facilities out there are so nice.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of nice hotels around that too for teams traveling in town, and it's just really set up well for all that. It attracts a lot of sports teams, tournaments.
Yeah, so the entertainment kind of dovetails into another pro that is the parks and trails. Actually, the Shawnee Park, is it Shawnee Mission Park?
Shawnee Mission Park.
It is enormous. I think it takes up about 20% of the whole city limits is devoted just to this one park, which kind of reminds me of Central Park in Manhattan. You can see the amount of land that's dedicated to be in a park, how important park life is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the entertainment is wrapped around the parks and the trail systems in Shawnee.
Yeah, it's over 1,600 acres just for that Shawnee Mission Park, and it will connect to others through some of the green space he was just talking about with trails and all kinds of meandering trails through that. And then there's a 120 acre lake right in the middle of that they rent boats like kayaks and canoes, so you can go down there to the marina and rent that stuff. You can, you know, pick up some worms to go fishing. You can get out there and enjoy the water. You can also bring your boat to the lake, and they have set up a boat washing station so you can wash your boat before and after. We're just trying to keep invasive species from traveling from lake to lake, so they've done kind of a state-of-the-art boat washing station. There's a 46 acre dog park there with a dog beach that I like to take my dog to, because you can just spread out, you're not stepping in, you know what, and you can get right down to the water. The dogs are swimming, launch a tennis ball out there with the chuck it and just wear them out. And it's, you know, on those hot summer days, what are you gonna do with your dog? You take them to the lake.
Yeah, that lake is actually is right on the border of Lenexa and Shawnee. So one side of the lake's Lenexa, the other side is Shawnee. But it is awesome. They have a skate park out there.
Yeah, skate park for the kids, a pump track. There's a mountain bike kind of practice course, and then all kinds of mountain bike trails that just go off and up and, you know, all over. There's a golf course right by it. What else? An archery place. So they, you know.
Yeah, they've thought of it all.
Golf course, 18-hole disc golf course.
Yeah, it's fun. If outdoor living is your thing, then Shawnee is a great place to do it.
Yeah. All right, what we got next? Oh, yeah.
Rent versus own. That is always a big thing to look at when you're trying to take the temperature of what type of community you're getting involved in. To know that the majority of people are owners rather than renters. This is one of the highest ratios I've seen in Kansas City, coming in at 74% of people own versus 26% renters.
Yeah, so that's great. That means that's good for property values and everything. It means people that live there want to be there. They've invested into the community. They're going to stick around for a while. They take some pride of ownership, and that just helps the whole city grow and improve. So yeah, that's an awesome number.
Yeah, and I think that also dovetails with the low crime rate. The Shawnee is very low crime, and I think that we usually see a correlation there on that rent versus own ratio and how it affects the crime. So it really is a great barometer for the type of community you're getting in, you know, and it's a great one in Shawnee.
Yeah, and you know, to touch on that too, usually the closer you get to the city center, the crime rates can tend to go higher because it's just more denser population, and that's just, I mean, this is a first tier suburb to Kansas City, so it shares a border, but we just don't see that there. It's just great. It's just far enough away. You're about 10 miles from the city center, and you know, just traffic and everything in and out of it's real easy to get around. I mean,
yeah, the location's fantastic. For if you work downtown, you can hop on 35. It's clear on the east side of Shawnee, but Shawnee Mission Parkway runs right through the center from east to west, and is great just to hop on the highway and you're downtown in no time.
Yep, and there's 3 great highway systems that actually run north and south right through it. We've got 35 on the east, you got 435 in the middle, which will actually circumvent the whole city, and it's also the quickest shot up to the airport. And then you've got K7 or 7 highway on the left, or on the west, the west that'll run you through. So 3 great highway systems that get you around the city fast, and then Shawnee Mission Parkway right through the middle. So.
Yeah, for being in Kansas, it's one of the closest suburbs to the airport. It's a pretty quick shot, probably 20 minutes to the airport, and so you know, it's not real close, but 20-25 minutes and you're there.
Yeah, one of the closer for being south of the river. Yeah, it's a sweet spot. There is an old downtown. We have this on there. This is pretty cool. So back in 1926, they've saved this street and they've restored these buildings, and there is a little old town. It's not the downtown. It's not too far from there, but really cool spot. They do events and community events there, and one of them is the Dog Days of Summer, where everybody's encouraged to bring their pets out. It's a day focused around pets in a little old town, and they give out prizes, for example, like the dog with the longest tongue or shortest tail, or I don't know, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So pet owners can go out there and have a great time with their pets. And it's a cool town of museums. You can rent it out for weddings and do all kinds of cool stuff there. So just another perk to living in Shawnee.
Old town.
Old town.
Yeah, that's one of the things we really like. That actually the downtowns and the old towns, the places where, you know, you have more mom and pop shops, less commercialized, less of the, you know, your chain stores. Where, you know, I think that's where the community gathers. Yeah. The people that live in the city, that work, you know, that own businesses in the city, that's, you know, support local businesses. That's always something that I really like to see in a suburb, and, you know, nobody does it better than Shawnee.
Yeah, and I will say that they've got one of the best city websites as far as their events and just parks and all that stuff. So if you want to find out more information about Shawnee, their website is amazing. For example, the calendar of just the events that they have right there in the square, from First Fridays, concerts in the parks. You know, they've got farmers markets happening all the time, and it's just a blast. There's old car shows and all that kind of stuff. So any reason they can pull the community together to get down there and hang out and support local business, they do it right.
Oh yeah. Another thing that is cool about Shawnee as you're driving through, is that it's a lot of hills. It's not super flat. When you think of Kansas, you think of just, you know, being able to see for miles, but there's a lot of rolling hills in Shawnee, and the land has a lot of character, a lot of trees and parks and hills, and it's really just a beautiful, geographically, it's really pretty. So that's something I'd like to point out.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Rolling hills. And then we've got the last pro we wanted to talk about was the property values and the house prices. So right now, the median price for the property that sold over the last 12 months is $409. It doesn't mean it's the cheapest place in the whole city to live, but it's fairly affordable, coming in at 111% as far as the affordability to live in Shawnee. House prices were what pushed it over a little bit. We're kind of closer to $350, $330 for an average price point around Kansas City. So a little bit above that, but man, what you get for that price, I don't know, I think it's a really sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure. All of the amenities that city offers, to only be 111% of the national average versus some of the other areas that are quite a bit higher. It's just, I think, a really great value.
Yeah, and you know, you get the great schools to go along with it, so it's just a win-win. And we actually have done a vlog on Shawnee where we go around, we take you downtown and look at all the stuff we just talked about, and then walk around and look at some different houses in some of these neighborhoods at different price points. So you can see exactly what you could get for some of these prices we're talking about. And I think you'd be surprised if you check that one out.
Yeah, check out the vlog and the map video where Zach's gonna take you through the entire area of Shawnee from a bird's eye perspective, show you all the major highways, and point out a lot of the things that we're talking about on the map. So
stay tuned for that one. Yep. All right, let's get to the cons. We can't just get them rainbows and sunshine all day, can we?
All right, all right. Yeah, we'll talk about, really there's not a lot of cons.
I know, we had to dig deep.
Yeah, the taxes are a little bit higher. There's a 1.27% overlay for the city of Shawnee on top of your normal property tax.
And then sales tax is a little higher at 9.6, which a lot of the cities down south are around 9 to 9.2. So still, you know, a couple tenths of a percent. So nothing crazy there. It is a little further south. We already talked about that. So if anybody on the south side of Kansas City or south of the river is going to have to spend a little more time getting to the airport, but it's not that far. You're still looking 25 minutes, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, it's compared to Olathe or some you know, stuff that's quite a bit further south, even Overland Park. You've got to navigate quite a few roads to even get to the highway, and then you're driving by Shawnee on your way to the airport. So I think the location's great, even though, you know, if being at the airport is important to you, if you're traveling every week for work, then you probably want to be in the Northland, just to be 10-15 minutes from the airport. We see that a lot. So, but you know, 20-minute drive isn't 25 minutes isn't a big deal. Definitely, you know, compared to Lee Summit, Shawnee is a skip and a jump from the airport.
Yep, absolutely. Well, if they've made it through our list of cons and pros, we said if you stick around to the end, we're going to tell you the one thing that's making a lot of noise right now.
Yeah, there is, and you'll be able to see this in the map video pretty clearly, but there is an enormous, it looks like a rock quarry from the map, but there is an enormous development that's going on where the developer is removing 50 feet of hilltop and over an area that it's on the north side of the park, and
Massive area. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's a lot of land.
it's almost equivalent to the size of the park.
Yeah.
And it's ruffling some feathers, it's making some noise. They're taking out 50 foot of rock and gravel, so lots of construction and dump trucks coming in and out, mostly on Johnson Drive. And some of the neighbors have their feathers ruffled a little bit over because I think it's been going on for like 10 years.
Well, it said it's going to take up to 5 to 10 years to complete it, and it's been going on for a couple years now. So there's still a little bit left in the runway to get it all done, but
yeah. So that is something to think about. It's if you look at it, when you tune into the map video, you'll see that it's not really adjacent to any neighborhoods, and that's why the city issued the permit. It's going to be a really nice development. It's zoned for mixed use, industrial, commercial, and residential. So I think it'll be, when everything's said and done, it'll be on the pro side, because it'll be a really nice development right in the heart of Shawnee. But right now, the people that are living through 10 years of construction are dealing with some of the pain.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that really live off Johnson Drive right there are people on like small acreage, so it's not subdivisions that are right close on it, but just something to consider if you're looking at Shawnee. Just kind of see where that is on the map, and if that's something that might bother you, just make sure you're a little ways away from that. But when it's done, it's right there on the river. It's got great highway access. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it should be really neat. So, well, usually the things on the con side have a flip side of the perspective that also have a pro. So it's kind of glass half full, half empty conversation always with the pros and cons video.
Yep. Well, thanks for watching. If you guys have questions, please put them in the comments below. As always, we really just need to have that conversation with you. We just put these together so you can get a feel for the areas. But call us, find us. All that info is in the description below, so we can chat with you and see what your goals are. And we'll talk to you then. Remember, you got friends in the business.
Yep, we'll hear from you soon.